After losing all but one of 15 Super Tuesday races, Nikki Haley is dropping out with, quote, no regrets. I'm joined now by Jaquetta Van Zandt, host of the podcast Politics and Prosecco, as well as Jennifer Nassour, chair of Nikki Haley's campaign in Massachusetts. Thank you both for being with me.
Thank you.
Having us. I mean, Jennifer, I guess I have to ask you the question. You know, Nikki Haley said that she was going to stay in the race no matter what, and now she's dropped out. I mean, what happened there?
Well, I mean, so I said from the very beginning, you know, it depends on where your donors and your volunteers and your supporters are.
I also want to ask you something that has nothing to do with the city council, but everything to do with concerns about DE&I in the state as a whole, and especially at Harvard. We know that Claudine Gay, also Haitian-American woman, the first Haitian-American Black woman in that position. I mean, as someone who's also a first, what do you think about this situation?
And often first, you know, experience a number of challenges and setbacks, and a lot of people trying to prevent that first from even happening.
Leave Florida alone.
All right, guys, Geronimo. Oh. I'm talking with my mouth open. That's nice. You're like, duh. With, let's just call it, passionate approach to saving struggling bars and restaurants. Take a look.
My name is John Taffer. For the next 5 days, you work for me.
Oh, it's freaking raw! John, I love your show, by the way.
Thank you.
And you were telling me it's 100% real.
100%.
Not scripted.
Not scripted. And, you know, it's, and I say that on my mother's grave.
But it wasn't all fanfare. Plenty of others pushed back, claiming that the megastar doesn't belong in country music. GBH News' Callie Crossley has some thoughts about that backlash. She joins me now. And Callie, I just think it's just really appropriate that I go ahead and get dressed for this conversation.
There you go.
All right.
You look good.
Yeah. Well, you know what we were talking about? Like, I'm excited. You're excited about this foray into country music.
Well, it's actually not her first foray. People may remember on the Lemonade album that she did Daddy Lessons.
The new report, the National Urban League, explores how the state of Black America has and has not changed since the Civil Rights Act of 1964, finding, quote, 60 years later, the fight for equality is far from over. It confirms what a lot of folks in this space already know, but maybe a surprise to some people in that we have not come as far as we thought we might have.
Yeah, you know, next year is the anniversary of the 1965 Freedom Rally, where Dr.
60 years, and we're still only have a score of 76%. Now, in my house, that wouldn't be a good grade.
Yeah, that's a little above passing, but...
Demand for mental health care far outpaces the available resources. We know that. But in one Boston neighborhood, people in crisis, they have a new option. East Boston Neighborhood Health Center has officially opened its new behavioral health urgent care service aimed at providing same-day service for crisis evaluation and psychiatric consultation. I got a tour of that new facility and learned how they are responding to a growing need. More than 300,000 people visit East Boston Neighborhood Health Center every year, the largest facility of its kind. Their population of patients are low income and high need. We know that African Americans are more likely to experience socioeconomic disparities like exclusion from health, educational, and socioeconomic resources. You know, experts say that these disparities contribute to worse mental health outcomes, and in fact, actually dropped in on a yoga class.
I really do believe that our bodies keep the score over time, and our experiences start to sit in our bodies. And over time, it's detrimental to our nervous system.
For decades, research has shown that chronic stress from racism and neighborhood conditions is toxic to Black and brown people. Everything from the cardiovascular system to mental health is affected. In Rosie DeCanto's Yin class in Dorchester, these students are working to change those outcomes through yoga and meditation. Four Corners is a Black-owned yoga and wellness organization aimed at expanding access to the practice and creating spaces for equity conversations.
For me, my first yoga teacher was Black. So that felt good, and that gave me permission, like, hey, this is for me. I think yoga can really be the tool, our medicine, our community needs to thrive and grow and heal.
I joined one of Rosie's classes at Conwent Square Neighborhood Health Center's Great Hall and instantly felt a connection to community.
A little uncomfortable.
If not, a little bit out of my comfort zone.
We see some folks and how they age and how they live these long, healthy lives. That's for us too.
Student and yoga instructor Isla Gavin says she began to pay attention to the stress she was carrying from work, and then when she saw more and more older Black women in her community raising their grandchildren.
All that is going to increase your capacity to be, number one, and then number two, to be in community.
One thing I think was really important to hear was that it's okay if you take this time to rest.
Yes.
Yeah.
The way that I approach teaching is invitation rather than directive.
22% of women in the U.S. ages 35 to 44 have never even gotten a mammogram and have no plans to get one. So I decided that on my 40th birthday, the risk was just too high for myself not to schedule a screening, and I wanted to share that experience with our audience here to show you that a little bit of discomfort, maybe a little bit more than a little bit, is certainly worth the peace of mind. Happy birthday to you. Turning 40 is a big milestone, a time for reflection on career, maybe expanding the family, not when should I schedule a mammogram? And when I had one, I didn't expect to have to be called back in. Black women are about 40% more likely to die of breast cancer than white women, according to the American Cancer Society, and die at a younger age. Walking into the Thea Stoneman Breast Imaging and Diagnostic Center at Brigham and Women's Faulkner Hospital, I was nervous but determined to get answers.
Okay. All right. And I'm going to take you to get changed, okay? So I'm going to have you change from the waist up.
After a quick check-in and change, my mammography technologist, Kimberly, guided me through the imaging process and to the room.
Can I check your bracelet?
Yes. And asked several screening questions.
What was your age of your first pregnancy?
39. Kimberly tells me her mother died of breast cancer, which is why she works here. She's guided hundreds of women through the process.
Perfect, just like that.
I was squeezed.
Now hold your breath. Don't breathe.
And repositioned.
This is going to be tight. How you doing? You still with me?
Yes. Radiologist Dr. Sona Chickermani went over my results.
There was an area on the mammogram that we just needed a few additional pictures just to confirm that it's benign or okay. We're looking to identify any breast cancers. So breast cancer can look like density on a mammogram, but there are a lot of other things that can look like that.
Keep that on there.
Mm-hmm. Extra pressure, roughly 18 to 20 pounds, was put on my breast for this second screening. It helped get a better image of my breast.
Don't breathe.
My scans were clear, and now I can really
breathe. Very good.
It was a diagnostic screening after an initial screening that I had.
Yeah. So actually the technologies are just honestly getting better and better.